All right, guys, it is July 9th, the year of our Lord 2025. Sorry, I'm scratching my eyeball. Uh, I think we're going to start off a little different today. Um, I think we need to sit down and focus on understanding what's really going on in the world today. Um, a lot of people are saying, well, you got to separate church from state. Well, when you do, what happens? Evil stepped in. So we're where we're at because we let God, we kicked God out of some important um, decisions. We thought we could do it ourselves. And we're finding out that we couldn't do it ourselves. As a matter of fact, we were a free country for probably about a year before it got hijacked and turned to a corporation. So, 1776, yes. The Constitution was signed. That's where it's recommended that we got our freedoms. We're going to go back and find out that we only had them for a short period of time, and then we've had the illusion of freedom ever since. Because stop and think about this. Why do we need permits to carry firearms today? If we have a right to bear arms and it shall not be infringed upon, why do we need permits? Why do we need permission to have a constitutional protected right? Stop and think about this. We're in the digital age, and cops flip out over you recording them during a traffic stop that involves you. They don't want you to have evidence of your own. Why? Not too long ago, I'm talking about a few months ago, I think, there was a gentleman in a Walmart, bought a pizza, walked out, and two cops slammed him face first into the ground for not producing a receipt. Almost killed the guy. Cops never get charged for their crimes, but we have to toe that line. Why is there a difference between the government and the people? Stop and think about this. Why does congresswomen go through and get DWIs and nobody knows about it? They get fines, domestic disputes, and lo and behold, and nothing's on their record. Why do you think that is? Because the system is designed for only a select few. And it's the people that are placed there, not elected. So you have to stop and understand. When you take God out of the equation, you're left with chaos and evil. We need to understand what's going on. And that's what's going on. These people are fighting tooth and nail. Every trick in the book, so they're not held responsible for the stuff they've done. Causing natural disasters. You remember Hawaii, the burning of everything except it was blue? Lasers did that shit. And everybody's sitting there saying, oh, well, it's a freak fire. No, it was set on purpose. They are doing things to eradicate people. They only want a select few amount of people to do the work while they sit on their butts and reap all the rewards. There's a problem. And a lot of people don't get this, and I don't know why. It's crazy that you're plumbing through life without this simple thing. If you wouldn't do it, why is it okay for other people to do it? Would you want to put somebody in chains, put them into a facility and tell them to go break a rock every day just for fun? Because you can? No? But that's what they were doing. You go over to China, your Nike Jordans, your, Reeboks. Kids are putting those together for you. Sweatshops still exist, guys. Child labor still exists. And a lot of people say it's okay. So it's okay for us to steal your kid and put them in a shop, make them earn 2 cents an hour while I'm making $2,000 an hour. That sounds fair. That sounds like the right thing to do. And then when they're malnourished and then they die because they're not being fed properly, because you're not taking care of your help, no one cares. This is not a loving thing to do. But it happens. Everybody's upset over this Epstein file thing. That's pretty much all I have heard yesterday and today. Just constant bickering about this Epstein file. Everybody's a traitor. This ain't happening. This ain't going on. We're never going to learn anything. These people are, like I said the other night, how do you know this isn't a move that nobody's seeing except Trump? Because God gave him that move. If you pay attention to your eyes, you're going to be fooled. You have to listen with your heart and your soul. If you're a true patriot for this country, stop looking with your eyes. Listen to the blood of this country. People are so busy on their phones, except for when they are asleep, trying to learn what's going on in the world today. What's this? How much money can I make today? How much of my family can I neglect today while I'm playing on my phone? You'd be surprised how many families are neglected by each other because they're fixated on their phones. What would happen if God took phones away from everybody, took the internet away, and we went back to the way things were before the internet was invented? What would happen? You would have closer families again. Now, everybody is so fixated on their phones until kids are punching their parents, breaking things, destroying the house because their phone is taken away. Because they think that's what matters. Where did the discipline go? It went out the door when we let God go out the door. When God was taken away from the politics, from all this other stuff, and we allowed evil into the door, they started taking our kids away from us. I don't have kids, so therefore it took kids away from their parents because their parents were trying to do the right thing. They were disciplining their kids. Now, some parents take it too far. I agree, 100%. But disciplining your kid ensures they don't grow up and blow up a building because they know better. They know the difference between right and wrong. I know some kids that when I was growing up, they were never disciplined at all. They cussed their parents out. I know one guy even punched his mother and father in the face and laughed about it. You know where he is today? Prison. because he thought he was the biggest, baddest thing around and could do whatever he wanted to, and no one could tell him no because he wasn't disciplined. I'm not saying beat him to death, but sometimes your kids needs a firm hand. And sometimes God will teach you with a firm hand. So understand for life to keep going, it needs discipline. You think a flower is vulnerable to the weather? Nope. Because when it sprouts, it feels the tension of the wind. When it rains, it gets the pressure and it knows what to give. It goes through more discipline than we do. And it can tolerate a lot more than what we can. But when we fixate on the worldly things, we miss what God is telling us at the time. If we could listen to God and do what He says, instead of listening to ourselves, I'm almost positive the world would be a 10 times better place than what it is now. But everybody's looking for someone else to tell them what to do. If you're looking for somebody to tell you what to do, turn to God. Turn your life over to Him. He'll tell you what to do. And your life will be a lot better for it. Some of us endured, when we were kids, abuse. So when we grew up, we could spot it. To be honest with you, if you were abused as a kid, the best job is to be a counselor in a school and point out the kids that have been abused. You know the signs. And help those kids when nobody could help you. That's the best thing to do. Some of us got into things that got us understanding that we need to channel it in a different way. I got into martial arts because of that. Because I was going down a destructive path and I didn't want to go to jail. So I got into martial arts pretty heavy. And then some of us just couldn't handle the abuse. So, and I'm not going to say what they did, but we all need to understand the reason I'm bringing all this up right now is because there are things going on for a reason. Just like your childhood, there's no mistakes in your childhood. What happened to you made you the person you are today. Just like today, what's going on is to make it better tomorrow. So, what's going on is not, it's not what you think it is. Stop looking at it through your eyes and start looking at it through your soul. And understand these type of things have to happen. It's like I was explaining it to my wife. My wife was asking me, I said, well, how many corrupt judges are on the benches right now? Too many. So if they start bringing these guys in and charging them with all these corrupt judges, how many of them are going to walk? So is it a good time to bring these guys up on charges? No. Stop and look at the bigger picture, guys. Stop looking at what you want and look at the bigger picture. There are still a lot of things in play that we have to deal with. If Trump goes through and makes all these things to where they start arresting people, do you not realize Trump is going to be in the litigation for the next 4 years? Or 3 years? There are things that have to be done a certain way. This is one of the ways. And it's something that we need to understand and stop complaining about. And trust God that this is the way it needs to be. Well, how can we trust Trump? He's a man. He could be flawed. You're very right. He is a man. But he is a highly intelligent man. Meaning, to be honest with you, I think Trump has been blessed. Stop and think about this. He's a multimillionaire, self-made multimillionaire. He's a construction worker. He's a carpenter. He's highly intelligent. And then he gave it all up to fight for you. And this is the way you want to repay him. By throwing it to the side. And say he's flawed. Because you don't like a decision he makes. We got to do better. All I'm trying to say here is this. Trust in God. Trust in the way he has things going. And stop complaining that it's not going your way. All right, guys? Remember, God loves you. God bless you. And remember to pray.